Turtle in Paradise by Jennifer L. Holm. Chapter 2, Paradise Lost. I've never been to Easton, Pennsylvania, but according to Mr. Edgett, I'm missing out. Best thing about Easton, Mr. Edgett says, we didn't go in for prohibition like the rest of the country. You could always get a drink in Easton. What is it with folks always talking about where they're from? You could grow up in a muddy ditch, and if it's your muddy ditch, then it's got to be the swellest muddy ditch ever. Mama's the worst. She's always going on about how Key West is paradise. It's beautiful. The weather's perfect. There's fruit dripping from trees. To hear her talk, you'd think the roads were paved with chocolate, like something out of that dumb song Shirley Temple sings. On the good ship Lollipop, it's a sweet trip to a candy shop where bonbons play on the sunny beach of Peppermint Bay. It turns out that getting to Key West is nearly as impossible as getting to Peppermint Bay. There's no road between some of the keys, which are little islands, so we have to wait on a ferry to take the car and us over. It's hours late because of the tide. This is ridiculous, Mr. Edgett grouses. I don't owe Archie a penny more after this trip. When we finally pull into Key West, there's not a bonbon in sight. Truth is, the place looks like a broken chair that's been left out in the sun to rot. The houses are small and narrow, lined up close together, and most of them haven't been painted in a long time. There's trash piled everywhere. It's so hot and humid, it hurts to breathe. What a dump, Mr. Edgett says, but it's a green peeping out everywhere that catches my eye, between the houses and the yards and alleyways. Twining vines, strange umbrella-type trees with bright orangey-red blossoms, bushes, pink flowers, and palm trees. Like Mother Nature is trying to pretty up the place. She has a long way to go, though. We drive around looking for Curry Lane, which is where Aunt Minnie lives, but Mr. Edgett's about as good at following directions as Hair Today is at growing hair. Finally, we park next to a little alley so that Mr. Edgett can study the hand-drawn map Mama gave him. I just don't understand where this Curry Lane is, Mr. Edgett says, scratching his bald head. I wish Archie was here. He never gets lost. And he's been just about everywhere. We'll sit with a big map and he'll point out all the places he's been. See Chicago? Folks are smart there and they like to look good too. Sold a crate of hair pomade in one day, he'll say. Or, that little town in North Dakota, stingiest place I've ever been. Folks there wouldn't buy a button if their pants were falling down. A barefoot boy with big ears is looking furtively down the alley. He's wearing overalls with no shirt underneath. Hey kid, Mr. Edgett calls out the window. Can you tell me where Curry Lane is? You're looking at it, the boy says, pointing down the muddy alley. That's Curry Lane, I ask, and the boy nods. Which one's the Curry place? Mr. Edgett asks. They're all Currys, mister, the boy says. It's Curry Lane. Mr. Edgett gets out of the car and grabs my suitcase. Come on, Turtle, he says. At least we're in the right place. I pick up Smokey and follow him down the lane. Mr. Edgett stops in front of a house that's so small you could probably sneeze from one side to the other. There's a boy who looks my age rocking lazily on a porch swing, his feet resting on a sleeping dog. In front of the house is a beat-up child's wooden wagon. Somebody's painted on the side of it, "Will work for candy." Spelled wrong. Excuse me, son, Mr. Edgett calls to the boy. What are you selling, mister? The boy asks, flexing grimy bare feet. He's wearing one of those newspaper boy caps set low on his forehead. Mr. Edgett brightens. Well, since you asked, I do happen to have some hair today back in my automobile. The dog lifts its head and growls low in his throat. It's the funniest-looking dog I've ever seen, like someone crossed a Dachshund with a German Shepherd. It's all tiny body with a big head. What's it do? The boy asks. Makes your hair grow, Mr. Edgett says, pointing to his head. It's guaranteed to work in 1 month or your money back. The boy snorts. Guess you ain't a satisfied customer. The dog leaps up, barking like mad. Smokey looks at him like she can't be bothered. She's never been very scared of dogs, just kids. Beans! What's going on out there? A voice shouts from inside the house. A heartbeat later, the screen door slams open, and a woman in a faded striped dress is standing in the doorway, wiping her hands on the front of her apron. She looks like an older version of Mama, except her face is tanner, and her hair's pulled back in a flyaway bun. Hush, termite, she orders the dog, who stops barking with the whine. Then she turns to Mr. Edgett. Who are you? He's just some salesman, Ma, the boy asks. I'm looking for Minerva Curry, Mr. Edgett says. I'm Minnie Curry, she says, her eyes widening when she sees me. Why, if you aren't the spitting image of my sister Sadie Bell. Folks have always told me that I look like Mama. My hair's brown, same as hers, but it's cut short in a bob with bangs, like a soup bowl turned upside down. Mama keeps hers long as a good dream, because that's the way Archie likes it. Our eyes are different, though. I think the color of a person's eyes say a lot about them. Mama has soft blue eyes, and all she sees is kittens and roses. My eyes are gray as soot, and I see things for what they are. The mean boy on the porch has green eyes, probably from all the snot in his nose. That's because she is Sadie's daughter, Mr. Edgett says. I'm Turtle, I say. Turtle, the boy Beans says. What kind of name is that? At least I'm not named after something that gives you gas, I say. Where's your mother? Aunt Minnie asks, looking around. Mr. Edgett answers for me. In New Jersey. Where else would she be? Who are you? Aunt Minnie asks. Mr. Edgett holds out a business card. I'm Lyle Edgett. You can call me Lyle. Beans hoots with laughter. Edgett? Your name is Edgett? That's a scream, pal. It's not Edgett, kid, Mr. Edgett says, his lips tight. It's Edgett. Got it? Edge it. Whatever you say, Mr. Edgett, Beans says. Mr. Edgett frowns at Beans and says to Aunt Minnie, I'm a friend of Archie's. Who's Archie? Aunt Minnie asks. I'm starting to get that bad feeling I always get right before one of Mama's fellas stops coming around and breaks her heart. The fella Mama's dating, I say. Aunt Minnie looks at me in confusion. I don't understand. Why are you here without your mother? Didn't you get her letter? I ask. What letter? Did something happen to her? Say, Mr. Edgett, Beans says loudly, you've been using that hair tonic on your arms? 'Cause it's sure coming in thick there. It's the final straw for Mr. Edgett. He drops my bag on the porch. The dog leaps back with a startled yelp. I'll leave you to your happy reunion, Turtle, Mr. Edgett says with a huff and marches down the lane to his automobile. He gets in, guns the engine, and screeches away. So long, Mr. Edgett, Beans calls, laughing. Mama wrote you a letter, I say. She got a new job as a housekeeper. Mrs. Budnick doesn't like children. So she sent you to me? I didn't have anywhere else to go. She looks shocked. For how long? Until we can get a place of our own, I guess, I say, or until she gets a new job where I can live with her. But Aunt Minnie isn't listening to me. This is just like Sadie Bell. She never thinks as if I don't have enough already with 3 kids and a husband who's never home. She looks at Smokey. And you brought a cat? Smokey's a good mouser, I say. She's good at being ugly is what she is, Beans says. From inside, a young voice calls, Ma, I had an accident. Aunt Minnie closes her eyes and rubs her forehead. Ma, the voice cries again. She turns on her heel, walking through the door without a backward glance. Beans, help your cousin with her bag, she calls over her shoulder. Then it's just Beans and me and the animals. Here, Beans says with a mean smile, picking up my suitcase, let me help you with your bag, Tortoise. He flips it over in one smooth movement, dumping my belongings onto the wooden porch in a heap and sending my paper dolls flying everywhere. Beans walks into the house, the dog running after him, and slams the door so hard it nearly falls off its hinges.